I mean, I love both because there's so much you can do. I mean, I'm like with the acoustic, you know, it'll lend itself, like, you know, what you could do, put you in the mood for like Wild Horses, you know, like by the Stones and stuff, like the mellow stuff. You know, I mean, I'm just saying when you're picking up a guitar, I mean, whereas like if you're gonna pick this thing up, you know, you're gonna want to write riffs. You know what I mean? So, but whereas with the acoustic stuff, it just puts you in a different, or when you're sitting behind a piano, the tone of instruments will inspire you to you know, that's why, you know, pedals are cool or whatever, you know, because of a certain sound puts you in a certain frame of mind when you're writing. You know, it's just like without that pedal, or, you know, if you weren't playing the piano, you wouldn't have ended up writing that song. No, it depends. You know, if I want to write rock songs, I mean, mostly it's going to be, you know, guitar. But yeah, because even Billy Joel, I saw this thing on Billy Joel, he was just talking about writing. And, you know, like he was saying, because he really loved Cream and everything like that, but, you know, he said the sound of, like, I think he was playing Sunshine of Your Love, you know. Yeah, and he was like on the piano, gang, 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 gang. It's just, like, it doesn't translate, you know what I mean? So, because of the sound of the instrument. But, you know, when you got a guitar with Marshalls cranked up and you got all the distortion on it, it definitely puts you in a different frame of mind. I mean, the thing is, we started doing Pantera, and it was like going to be either like, you know, we allocated a year into it or whatever. Then it turned into 2 years. Then 3 years, and I, like, you know, just not that long ago, we just ended up doing the last show. So it ended up turning into, we started in 2022 and went all the way to almost 2026. So 4 years, you know what I mean? But, you know, for me, there was no point in putting an album out because, you know, it'd be like John Travolta. Why are you going to put Grease and Saturday Night Fever out at the same time? You know, because you got to put the one out, let it run its course, then put the next movie out. You know what I mean? You're just competing with yourself. You know, just because it's not going to get the love that you want to give it. You know what I mean? So you got to put I was just like, hey, just wait. All it's going to do is just affords me time to just keep writing. You know, and like you said, the songs like Name and Blood, The Gallows, a whole bunch of the songs came in later on. Yeah, I guess because you're getting exposed to different things. Like, you know, like a lot of people ask, they were like, oh man, is the new Black Label going to sound, I wonder how much influence Dime's writing will have on it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, because I'm in Pantera world for 4 years, you know what I mean? They're playing those songs every night. But yeah, so it's only natural that you would, you know, people are going to go, oh, it's going to sound like that. Or if I was playing if I was playing with the Eagles for 4 years, you know, I wonder if that's going to rub off on Zakk, you know, if I'm going to hear any Eagles on Zakk's new album, you know what I mean, and the mellow stuff, you know. But yeah, it's only natural. And it's also what you love listening to. You know, that's why I tell everybody, it's just like, when you listen to somebody like Green Day, you know, obviously they love the Clash and all the punk stuff, and that's just in their DNA of what they loved listening to when they were 14 years old. It's always going to be with you. You know, so for me, it's always Sabbath. I love Elton John. I love the Eagles. You know, the mellow stuff. Neil Young when he does all the mellow stuff, and even when he does the heavy stuff. But it's just like, you know, that side of it, or, you know, Zeppelin and Cream, you know, Deep Purple. I mean, as far as riffs go, it's just, you know, that's part of your education. You know, so, you know, and that's what I always tell, like, younger musicians, you know, it's just like, you got advice for my son and my daughter. It's just like, you just play what you love. You know, if you don't have any interest in certain types of music, you know, because everybody's like, oh, well, you should be well-rounded, you should play. I go, yeah, but if you're not feeling it, and you don't, like, why would you eat food you don't like? You know, like, if you don't like sushi, why are you eating it? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if I like it, but I mean, if my buddy Frank, I'm like, here, Frank, try it, man. He's just like, I don't like fish, man. You know what I mean? Like, and don't eat it. You know, it's the truth. You know what I mean? So, you know, just play whatever it is that moves you and play. That's what you should be doing. So just play the music that it is that moves you, that you like. You know what I mean? And it's usually always the stuff that you love listening to. Because it's going to be in your DNA, you know what I mean? No, I think the solos should fit the songs. You know what I mean? It's just like that's why I'll sit down and work on them. You know what I mean? Well, you know, because it should take you for a ride. Like when you listen to Back in Black by AC/DC, that solo, or You Shook Me All Night Long, any of the solos that are on those songs, I mean, they take you on a ride. You know, it's just another window in the song. You know what I mean? Randy Rhoads he was the king of it. You know what I mean? It's just like his solos were songs within the song. And Jimmy Page, Stairway to Heaven, I mean, the solo on that thing was Hotel California. I mean, they're all iconic, but I mean, they're almost like it's just 101, it's an education of how to write a solo. You know, I mean, it's just, I'll sit and work on, I can hear it in my head when I'm, you know, where it should go high, so maybe I'll start higher, I'll start low, and you try until it sounds natural. You know, it's just like, oh, this would sound cool if I start right here. And then you sit and you just work on something, so, you know, it's part of the song. You know, I mean, the only improv things, if somebody's just like, if it's a jam in E minor or something like that, and, you know, you're just gonna, like Voodoo Child or something like that, and it's just, you're gonna improv over it, you know, you could do that. I mean, most of the time for Black Label or Book of Shadows stuff, or, you know, anything like that, I'll sit and compose it. No, just play, obviously you gotta play what you feel. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, because I'm just saying, you know, we all run certain scales and patterns that you fall back, you gravitate to, that, you know, but it's because you like the sound of that. So it's just, I think, like I said, with Randy Rhoads and Eddie Van Halen, I mean, a lot of Eddie's stuff, I always thought Ed's stuff, I thought Ed was always more off the cuff than Randy. Me and my buddies, when we were listening, then it's like, the more you realize it, it's just Ed can play all those solos back note for note, you know, and so you could see Ed actually sat and composed them. You know what I mean? As much as it sounds like he's going crazy and it's, you know, completely different than Randy, they're not. I mean, I'm saying Ed definitely composed those solos, you know, on those first couple, without a doubt. I mean, all of them. And so they're ripping and everything like that, but they're melodic. You know, whether it's Panama, I mean, you got to play that note, and you see guys playing it on Instagram. You know, those are composed solos, and they're great because they fit the song. So you got to, if you go see a cover band, you want to see that solo in that song. Actually, probably Name in Blood was one of the last, I mean, heavy ones. But then the ballad I wrote, I mean, for Ozzy, maybe that's one of the last ones, because after I wrote the lyrics, obviously, after he passed away, after we laid him to rest. So that's probably near the end of the record. You know what I mean? I had the music sitting around, and then after Oz passed away, then I wrote the lyrics, because I was like, I want to use it for something, but I gotta write some lyrics for it. But then after Ozzy passed away, I was just like, then I got the lyrics for it, and I put it into that song. Yeah, probably Oz's song is probably the last one. That makes perfect sense. It ends the record, right? So there you go. Well, probably just meeting them, and then, but no, I mean, so many amazing memories. I mean, you know, and tons of laughs, man. I mean, that's why I always said it was a miracle any work ever got done, just because, I mean, you'd be around Ozzy for like 5 minutes. It's friggin' hilarious, you know what I mean? Between taking the piss out of himself all the time and the whole rock and roll, just the business, you know, and like how you just can't take any of it serious, man. I mean, especially being around him, you know what I mean? Because he'd be making fun of like everything going on, the whole thing, and on top of making fun of himself the whole time, you know what I mean? Because I was saying like you could never write a bad review about him because he'd be like, I could top that, you know what I mean? Oh my God. But I mean, like even Ozzy would say, he goes, like if Black Sabbath ever got a good review, he would be like, wait a second, something's off. Like, something's not right in the world. They actually like what we're doing. Oh, friggin' hilarious. But no, you know, between that and I mean, you know, obviously writing all the time, you know, certain songs, you know, like Miracle Man and being that was like the first riff and first song. And then, you know, Mama, I'm Coming Home. I remember when we did that one, when it was finally done, it was like, oh, I remember Oz playing the scratch vocal we did on it. It was like, I was like, wow, it came out great. Then, you know, without a doubt, I mean, certain songs were, you know, I remember Ozzy calling me up on the phone when we did Time After Time because he put the harmonies on it. I was like, Zakk, you got to hear this, because he was so excited about the harmonies that he put on it. So I was like, wow, that thing sounds really good. But yeah, moments like that.